Let's get this started. It's going to be a little bit of a short one today, and that's fine. The tenacity of being able to continue to do this, even though I'm not feeling the greatest today, is still going to be achieved. So let's get a little intro going, and then we'll start to work in a little bit. Okay, hi, welcome. Listen, we are going to do these acting Tuesdays and Fridays at 2 p.m. And there might be more, but this is going to be the start. And if you'd like to, you can actually email me ahead of time, and I will be more than happy to have you on as a guest where you come in and we can talk about your acting and help you do your emotional preparation. If you want to, as much as it would be helpful. I don't want to interrupt your acting processes, but I want to be able to help you to be able to maybe rethink them a little bit and readjust the abilities of your emotional preparation. I have written several books, and they're still in the publishing phase, and it's been on emotional preparation and on acting and on spontaneity and imagination and all kinds of things. So it's going to be a very interesting year for me here in 2022 as to what it actually is. So the one thing I will start with here is the reality. Now, a lot of people in acting, they ask the question of what is reality? And reality is the activation. Now, the activation of something is actually the real living thing that's inside of yourself gets activated. And the activated element is an actual thing that wakens up inside of you. So a lot of people think that emotional preparation is this thing that you put on yourself, or you work to try to perform some sort of emotional state. Well, that's not the way I utilize it. I utilize it to activate an inner thing. So when I'm actually working with emotional preparation, I'm working to actually waken up something that's internal inside of me. Now, this brings up and supports the topic that we're talking about today, which is the reality is activation. See, the reality, what brings in that reality is the activation. It doesn't matter if you're a superficial person or you're a very deep person. And I mean that very sincerely. If you're capable of activation of an emotion, of a spur, of something like that, then you're key. This is key to being able to actually work. Now let's take one more quick break here, and then I'll come right back and we'll continue to work through. It's going to be a very short stream today. Okay, now as I was saying, literally activating an emotion is something that activates something that's internal so that it wants to express itself external. So you stimulate an activation purposefully with yourself, something that you know and something that you've identified is actually something that's an internal thing in you. And when you activate it, it's going to stimulate the desire and the want that it has to express itself. Then before it starts to really fully express itself, you're going to be able to carry that activation right into the acting work. And that's what realism is. It's that simple. You don't have to be an Olympic athlete, or you don't have to be some extreme sports person, or you don't have to have any kind of credentials. The reality of the element is you've genuinely activated something. All of us can do this. This is not something that only the Hollywood elite can do. And believe me, I have seen many, hundreds of Hollywood elite people working with techniques and acting, and many of them failing at it, and many of them doing very well. It just depended on who they were and what was going on. And sometimes it would take the third or fourth time to be able to really come back into a technique program for them to be able to find a technique that actually works for them. So the reality of activation ties in the imagination. Okay, so this is a very short intro for today's broadcast. But here's the thing. We're going to do a couple of things here. I have a couple of programs here. Now, I am watching to see if there's any live questions. If you have any rushed questions, you have any problems you want to be able to figure out in your acting, there's sometimes things come up, then just go ahead and contact me at simonblake@emotionalpreparation.com. And you can also contact me through the YouTube or social media if I can figure that out, which I should. Just taking some time to figure it all out. So let's see here. Let's go to the first one. It's about 5 minutes. How do you know that you've actually activated your emotion? And then how do you trust it? We're going to be a little bit quick today because I've got a lot of writing that I'm doing, and it's going to most likely benefit you. And it will be very helpful for me to continue to work on getting many different things done. There's so much. I'm working on so much. And I really appreciate your comments, your questions. Please keep asking comments and questions. Keep suggesting topics that you want me to cover. That would be great. All right, so the topic is how to trust your emotion is activated. Now, this is first of all, why is this question important? You want to be able to, you've got to be able to trust that you've actually done the work in your emotional preparation. So you have your emotional preparation, you know that the goal of emotional preparation is to activate your emotion. We already know, or we might need a reminder. And a good acting lesson, to be reminded of it, is a good thing. Because the more you can learn it, the better your acting is going to be. We can remind ourselves that feelings are not emotions. Deep feelings are very close to emotions. But when we actually hit emotions, there's this thing that comes over us, and we've got this response. And it's like we have this vomit that's inside of us that's just wanting to pour out. That's the emotion. The emotion is like this, it's emotional vomit. Now, a feeling is an inclination. This is why a lot of times when people work in emotional preparation, they emotionally prepare on an inclination.
or they're just trying to get an instinct for the first moment. Now, instincts are fantastic. You want to work with instincts, of course. But a lot of times in emotional preparation, as part of the learning process for a lot of people, and I've seen this myself in others, and it's an experience to go through, is that you've got to learn for yourself the difference between a feeling and an emotion. Okay, so this is important because we're asking ourselves how to trust your emotions activated. Well, we're not looking to activate a feeling. A feeling is an inclination. We have a feeling, there's a sense of something going on, but it hasn't actually hit us yet. So a feeling is not something that we want to emotionally prepare on, because typically, normally, a feeling wouldn't be deep enough. Now, if you have a deep feeling, you could activate a deep feeling. There is this incredible saying. If it loves you, it will love you back. Don't worry about it. Live life. If it loves you, it will love you back. That's a really good saying. Now, if you activate your emotion, if you go deep into your feeling, if you settle in to activating an emotion, the emotional activation will come back into your acting work. Now, you may not know how it's going to come back, which is part of the thrill of acting. That's not unpredictability. That's actually something that's actually in favor for your acting. So if you sit in your emotional preparation and you go into something that starts to move you, can you sit there a little bit longer and have it go a little deeper? And then ask yourself, is it something that's staying with you, or is it something that's leaving you? If it's something that's staying with you, then it's something that you might be able to use for your acting. If it's something that goes just flying past you and it's just some fleeting feeling, then it's not something that you can trust. At least not yet.
Okay, this was very interesting. Now, here's the thing. I am very, very dedicated on helping you actually learn acting. It's very key. And the other thing that is a bit of a secret, but I'm going to be open about it, is I have a, let's say a brain aneurysm. It's a thing from being when I was assaulted from the thing. And the thing is I want to get this work out there now so I can, one, reference it for myself later. And I can continue to go through this work and continue to study. So that was something that's very real and that really did happen. So that's the reason I want you to come along with this journey on me in acting. But I need to do this for myself anyway. So don't feel bad about asking me questions. I really am doing this because there's a multi-purpose to it. And it's very, very good to have comments and feedback. I said we were going to be short today. There's one more clip and a series of small clips. It's about 6 minutes long, and then we will wrap it up. But let me see if I can find out where this is.
Every single actor should learn emotional preparation. There's these incredible opinions that are very interesting in acting, that some people feel like you could only emotionally prepare when you need it. And, well, when do you not need to be awake and aware within a scene? Almost every single scene, if the writer does a good job writing, which a lot of times they can do a great job. And there's a reason, or there's an activation that happens in the scene, and there's an activation that happens just before the scene. And you want to be able to activate yourself, be able to use emotional preparation. You've got to be able to find your own technique in acting, regardless of what it is. I don't care what teacher you study with. It doesn't make any difference. If you're able to find a technique that works for yourself is the only thing that matters. Whether you're studying with me or not studying with me, it wouldn't make a difference. What I'd be interested in teaching is making sure that you know technique. Techniques of emotional preparation are incredibly helpful for you to learn. Whatever you're capable of doing that can stir up the activation element of emotional preparation is what the point is. It may not be, and it may be, but it may not be exactly what I would use to be able to activate some kind of emotional life in myself. And this is why I do examples of emotional preparation on this channel. It's very important. Look, I really don't have anything to hide. I've really honestly have diligence in wanting to be very clear with being able to put emotion into acting. This is what I've been driven for years, to try and continue to study. Now, this is key, and this will be the last point today. You would be absolutely benefiting yourself as an actor if you learn to interact with stimulated emotion. They teach that emotional preparation is only for the first moment. Now, I have the opinion that that is kids' leagues. It is primary. You can get a situation where a lot of times people will do emotional preparations and they will only find an instinct, or they'll find a small feeling that sometimes doesn't stay with them, usually it doesn't, and then they'll try and chase that and put that into their acting for the very first moment. That's not emotional preparation. Emotional preparation is literally activating your emotional life. You activate your emotional life, something goes on inside of you, it starts to pour out of you. You start to activate the emotion. The emotion starts to ooze out of you. You start to feel this stuff that's sometimes I can call it, and sometimes I call it emotional vomit. Sometimes it's stuff you don't want to be really going through, or it's tough to go through, and you're feeling it. And it's not just a fleeting feeling. This is an emotion. Now, you work with that kind of depth to be able to activate that emotion. Sometimes it's deep, sometimes it's not as deep, and you work to then go to the door and knock on the door. This is the typical Meisner exercises. Or you go into a scene and you work within the scene. Now the key, absolute key, is then you interact with that emotion. Now, how do you do that? Your first moment of acting in acting class, in your actual scenes, is the moment that you start to receive the other actor. Now, this is my absolute determination, and I have determined that this is the first moment, and I know other people have different opinions, and you don't have to have my opinion. But you don't want to be focused on yourself when you're acting. You want to be focused on the other person. And you can't be focused on your emotional preparation because that's a whole nother mess. And sometimes that mess is really helpful for your acting, but you don't want to be focused on it while you're acting. So you put your focus on the other person, and you put your focus on receiving their first moment. You're receiving a first moment from them. Then what happens is this. You start to interact with them. They'll start to work off of your emotion even though you're not actually putting attention on it. So this is absolutely incredible topic for the day. Think about this today. Make notes about it. Have different opinions. Make comments in the section, in the comment sections. Tell your friends, share the video. Say, look, do you feel the same way? Ask them. When is the very first moment in acting? Why should actors learn emotional preparations? Ask them the questions. Have the dialogues. Look, this is the way to learn. Actively learn. So, please, boop the like button. That's what it's called now sometimes by people. A very nice name. Booping the like button. And you go ahead and make a comment. Ask an acting question. And I'll get around to answering your acting questions. And join me for the 2 p.m. Eastern Time, Tuesdays and Fridays live feeds. And I will actually, if you contact me through the website, I will actually bring you onto the call. And you can go face to face with me and we can actually have dialogue together. And I will actually help you be able to access your emotional life. I'll work with you to be able to help you find an emotional preparation.
Okay. Sorry, I need to correct myself. It's called brain atrophy. It's a condition that I think I'll be able to heal from, but it's just going to take even more time to heal. And so when I do these works and put this stuff together, I'm really just putting it down. This is my opinions on acting. And I don't want you to have my opinion. I want you to form your own opinion. And it's so helpful to be able to consider. I mean, I remember studying so many different teachers. I sat down, I think it might even be as many as 65 or 70 different teachers. And I say it's only 35. It's a lot of different teachers that I've studied the different points of views of Meisner. And this is important because it's not about being able to be right or wrong. It's about being able to have that student actually form their own opinion and be able to achieve what it is that's going to get that activation. One person might be able to activate practicing their mother or father dying, and that being something that they can actually do with intensity that actually works for them. Another person might do that and just break out into laughter. And it's as sad as it is. In all of it, this is the way that we have to accept ourselves. And that is the approach to look at with emotional preparation. So I'm losing my voice a little bit, and that's fine. So we're going to wrap up today. And just remember, it's brain atrophy. I think there's going to be ways to continue to heal my brain, but from the assault. That's what I was referencing. And I'm just being very open about it. It's been very hard recovery from when I was actually teaching live in front of people and absolutely in classes. And so instead, what I've done is I've taken the back end road to where I'm at now is I'm getting the books published. I'm getting the materials put out there. I'm making sure that whether I'm here or not, it's going to be able to help people. And that's really where I'm focused on. So, okay, let's listen to one last thing here, and then that will wrap it up. Thank you.
I really am into acting, and I know you are too. And the most important thing in acting is emotion. You've got to be willing and capable, and you got to know some of these tricks. These tricks of being able to activate your emotion. You activate your emotion in the being side of the work, and then you catapult yourself and dive into the doing side of the work, the interaction. And this element called emotional preparation is key. Hi, my acting training is incredibly extensive. These are some of my notes. This is not all of them. By far, it's not all. And I really like acting. I really like the hardest component of acting is the emotion. And so that's why I run and operate emotional preparation. And there's information on that website that you can join me on my live feed, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Tuesdays and Fridays. I hope to see you there. If you find the information on my website, you can actually join the live feed. I can send you a link and you can actually come on and talk to me face to face. And you can actually, we'll do emotional preparations together. So we can actually work to be able to access your emotions and help you be able to put emotions into your acting